The best sailing plan is always just to go with the flow, follow Mother Nature, follow her lead, just flow with the river. It's October of 2019, and the girls are fighting their way upwind through the thorny path. The good news is, Captain Lexi chose a better weather window this time. If anyone ever tells you that ocean sailing with 2 people is easy, they're lying to you. If they tell you doing night shifts on the ocean with 2 people is easy, they're lying to you. The last 2 times we tried to go upwind against the thorny path, we got our asses handed to us. We were fighting against 25 to 30 knots of headwinds, smashing through 10-foot waves. This is certainly much calmer, but we're not making much forward progress.
Well, big surprise, the wind forecast was wrong. The interesting part of the surprise is that the wind forecast was wrong in the opposite direction. Usually off the north coast of the Dominican Republic, you get winds and waves double anything that's forecast. Right now we have half of what's forecast. The big problem for us, we're not really making any progress because we have 5 knots of squirrely wind we're trying to go into. The wind was supposed to bear off to the northeast last night and it didn't. The wind is completely due east. It is due east at 5 knots and squirrely. So we're tacking, and WildChild can sail tight to the wind in a steady wind. In a moving wind, I mean, we're sailing at 50 or 60 degrees, which means we're tacking very long, wide tacks. So, we're moving 5/3 or 5/2, not in the right direction, trying to claw our way directly into light trade winds, like going directly upwind.
This is one of the hardest types of sailing for sailboats.
We may not have enough time to do this. There's nasty, 6-meter waves coming on Friday. We have 90 miles to go, and we've only made 30 miles of progress since last night at 6, and it's, I don't know, we left Tuesday night at 6, and it's now Wednesday morning at 10, and we've made 30 miles of upwind progress tacking. At this rate, 30 miles every, 14 hours, 90 miles to go to the corner, and then we still have to get around. It's not going very well. I'm not sure if we should motor assist. I'm not a fan of the motor, but I don't want this weather window to close on us. The wind is supposed to be from the northeast. That's what made this passage worthwhile. And it's not. We're in trouble.
A good sailing captain needs to be able to analyze the data, forecast into the future, see ahead, see problems before they occur, make good decisions well in advance of the moment when it becomes too late. We've gotten close enough to the Dominican Republic again that my cell phone has a data connection, and I'm downloading information. I'm analyzing the latest weather forecasts, and I'm doing math calculations, because that's what really good sailing captains do. Crew always thinks that sailing is so easy because they cannot see the mental sphere of things that the captain has to deal with in her mind. As the afternoon wears on, the wind does start to pick up a little bit. It's still from the east, but it's a little more steady, so I'm able to sail a little tighter to it.
Well, one of the things about the sailing adventures, you can't always grab the camera to show everything. The exciting news is it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we finally got the wind shift from, the trade winds have shifted just a little bit north, east-northeast, that was predicted and scheduled and that we desperately need. So I just tacked WildChild, and it's actually going along well. We are almost all the way out to the Silver Banks. That's how far off. We had to go 30 miles offshore to catch the slight northeasterly winds. We're running right now 7 over 3.4 with a wind angle around 50 degrees. But the good news is we're finally headed in the direction that we want to go because the wind shifted off a little tiny bit north, which is just enough to give us relief. The good news is, though, we're finally making progress in the right direction, and the predicted winds we were supposed to get are finally coming along. Maybe we're going to be okay. And as Elena sleeps, what's Captain Lexi going to do but eat sausage, because I love sausage, and watch a movie. At least it's a lovely day and the ocean is calm. I'm happy to sail in a calm ocean for weeks at a time. I don't even want to be 1 hour on a nasty ocean. I don't mind going slow and calm. I don't like going fast and nasty. I'm not a racer at heart. I'm a sailor, but not a racer.
Look at how perfectly trimmed that mainsail is. Only other sailors will truly appreciate how beautiful that sight is. Light upwind sailing is so technical. Your sail shape is so important. Always balancing your CLE with your CLR. Always analyzing your power lift vectors.
I had the Jenny tighter, but I slacked it off a little bit just to give a little more curve in the luff, just to create a little more lifting power. And we've got the Jenny Travelers kind of further back to control the curve in it. It's 3:24 in the afternoon. The wind finally shifted to the north and picked up. We were doing 10 over 6 just a few minutes ago, but now we're down to 7 over 3. But now we're going in the right direction, so the tack is correct, which is nice. What? Oh, look at that! What's that? Whoa, the wind has just come up to 10 knots and shifted to the north. WildChild is doing 10 over 5 in the right direction, and we've bared up 20 degrees. I gotta say, praise Jesus, hallelujah, we finally got an accurate weather forecast. We got the winds that we need to guide these beautiful girls safely on the ocean to their destination. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, praise Jesus, we finally got some wind on the boat. Yay! We got some wind in. We got some wind in. Yay! Yeah, she's nuts.
She admitted.
Yeah, I admit it. I'm nuts. I've been sitting here at the helm for like 24 hours. I am bored, and we've been mostly not becalmed, but like on the nose.
Helena doesn't talk to me. She's a very quiet one, and she's very boring to sail with, because she'll never have a conversation with you. I get lonely.
So it's supposed to come like this, like last night. Good morning, Elena. How are you?
She's very grumpy all the time too, which is why you seldom ever see her talk to the camera.
So, just so you know that I'm not, you all know I'm not a completely stubborn purist. I have the engine on. We just cannot get wind. Like, the good news is the wind is from the northeast like it's supposed to be, but it's really squirreling down. So I'm ending up with wind, like, wind direction is varying by 60 degrees. Wind speed is between 3 and 7 knots of wind. When we get 7 knots of wind from the northeast, we're sailing along happily at 4.5 knots, and we're in the right direction, everything is good. And it lasts for 2 minutes, and then the wind goes down to 3 knots, and then our speed falls below 2, and then we can't steer, and we start to wobble around, and then the wind comes to the nose, and we gotta bear off, and it's light wind sailing. Like, sailing into light squirrely winds is the worst thing to do, and that's exactly what we're doing. So even though the wind angle finally went to the northeast, the wind speed is 4 knots. Like, I just can't make ground in 4 knots of wind at 60 degrees or 50 degrees from the nose. 50 degrees from the nose.